Hello, come on in, sit down, take a seat, pull up a chair, grab a pew. Got yourself a drink? Are you ready? Okay, let's jump straight in. But I'm glad you're here. Just wanted to say that, and I hope you're well. But I'm glad you're here. All right. How long does it take to learn English? Most students say that, especially adult students. They don't have a lot of time. They're very focused on learning it as quick as possible. So that's the first point, is it depends on your time, your effort, and your focus. If you're very, very motivated, maybe you've just got a job speaking English, or as a teacher, or it's part of your contract that you have to be able to speak English for meetings, if it's an international company, and you start in say 2 months, then you may well be very, very motivated and focused, and being able to reserve a good amount of time set aside for practicing and learning English. But the short answer is generally 9 months to a year, depending on the energy and effort you put into it. And it depends what level you want, whether you want to be just about fluent, and sort of get by, or whether you want to be native level, because there's quite a large amount of learning in between the two, which sometimes it just takes time to get into your head and to experience that language on like a regular basis, well, daily basis, to be honest. Okay, I've had to sit down now because my legs were aching. All right. Also, I think if you're an introvert or an extrovert, makes a little bit of a difference. Again, it also depends on your focus and your energy and your motivation. But I find that children and extroverts tend to be a little bit forthcoming at speaking to themselves or out loud, and be able to accept the fact that other people are going to tease and make fun of them for their language skills. So whenever I go to a foreign country and I practice some of my phrases that I picked up for that country, I know that the staff are going to go, "What? Huh?" Not understand me for half of it. And when they do understand it, they're going to laugh at me. But that's all part of the learning. You have to accept it. It's a bit like riding a bike. Most people fall over when they ride a bike at some point. The same as when you learn to walk, from a child. You fall over a bunch of times. So you have to accept that learning process. And most people, when they laugh at you, they're not being malicious. They're just trying to have fun and connect with you and smile. And, often they're quite happy that you've made an effort to learn some words. So that makes a difference. As I said about motivation, I also mentioned in a previous video whether you're more of a stick or a carrot type of motivational person. And what I mean by that is, do you fear not getting something, or being left behind, or fear not getting to your goal? Or are you motivated by happy, positive, productive, pulling you forward kind of motivations? Just on the term motivation, there is a company online called Stick, Stickk. I think that's how you spell it, stick.com. And what they do is they say, look, if you're really, really motivated for something, it could be a climb up a mountain, or it could be, I don't know, tidying up your bedroom, or clearing out your garden, or whatever your challenge is. You can set up an account with stick.com, and you can give, I think, whatever amount you want. But let's just say you give them $500. And they say, okay, cool. When you've completed your challenge, then we'll give you your $500 back. If you fail to complete your challenge within this time frame, then we'll donate 95% of that money to charity. And so people that are really, really motivated go, all right, okay, yeah, I promise I'll do it. Here's your $500. The company obviously take a very small commission, I think, if you fail. And that's how they're able to sustain themselves as a company. But the motivation is like when you put money down on a bet with somebody. You say, oh, well, I bet I can do this. I bet I can do that. If you put money where your mouth is, many people are much more likely to do the task at hand. All right, so that's stick.com. So you can put your money there, and the rest of the money goes to charity apart from their commission. But motivation is a difficult one, especially over long periods of time. And when you're learning a language, you have to pace yourself and understand it's going to be over a long period of time. So you need to be really, really dedicated and really want to learn this language. Even if it takes you 2 years, 3 years, 5 years to really get to connected with that language, you're going to have to look at the long game and think about it as a long-term challenge. So that's motivation. Now, that doesn't always work for everybody, but that's motivation in a nutshell. All right, what have we got? Measurable results and seeing your progress. So this is one of the things I do with coaching, is we write down at the level the person is now, and then after coaching sessions and maybe 6 months or 3 months and then 6 months, we look at how much they've progressed. So they can, not only do they give them more motivation to say, oh yeah, I've actually done well. Look at me. Whoo, go me. Yeah, I've done well. Not only does it give them that motivation to show that they're getting better, but it also gives them evidence. Evidence to know they can go, they can do it. And what they've been doing and what we've been doing is working. It's evidence to help you keep going again. And then so when you make the next milestone or the next goal, you can see each step of the way, especially if you write it down, or you maybe, if you're not too embarrassed, you can have a sticker up on your fridge to say, hey, I've done 6 months, I'm at this level. I've done 12 months, I'm at this level, or something like that. You know, it's each to their own preference. Maybe you don't like that kind of thing, but being able to see something and monitor it as you go is normally some really good evidence for your future challenges. Okay, then the last thing then would be the approach you use. Like I said in one of the other videos about my dislike for apps or a book, trying to keep going with the apps on your phone and trying to keep going with a book that might not be relevant to you, because there's lots and lots of different people out there with different personalities and different interests and passions. So a book or apps might not be the way for you. Some people get on really well just with a teacher once a week. But like when you're driving a car, if you learn just once a week, it can be quite slow, because a week is a long time and we've got busy lives. A lot of things happen in that week. So unless you're really, really dedicated and motivated and you schedule out your plan, it can easily fall behind. You know, it only takes for one incident of I don't know, maybe your cousin having an accident, falling off their bicycle, or grandma gets ill, or one of your dogs goes to the hospital. Do you know what I mean? Just life generally happens. And so it just takes one incident like that, and then you're put back and you forget, and then you think, oh, I've kind of lost it now. I'll park it for now, and I'll come back to learning at a later date. And then time goes on and you forget and you get demotivated. So a lot of the approach is knowing yourself, or at least being able to articulate to somebody else about how you best learn. So your approach, like I said, then maybe with a teacher might be perfect for you. If you're a dedicated and meticulous person, then learning with a teacher can be really, really good. You can get very cheap teachers that are very knowledgeable. You know, there are platforms, and I've worked on a platform. What was it called? Oh, I can't remember now. And you can choose many different teachers. You can have 2 different teachers. What I used to recommend to some of my students, Preply, Preply.com, I think it was. Preply.com. That's the company I worked for. I did over a year, 1 whole year with that company. So there's a whole bunch of teachers, and what I used to recommend is for your grammar I would have kind of like one of the cheapest teachers you can afford, maybe from a less Western expensive country. So maybe South Africa, something like that. So they natively speak English, and their grammar as grammar teachers can be absolutely amazing. That's what I used to recommend because they're very, very cheap and they're very good at what they do. But then when you want to learn more about speaking and getting your accent or your articulating your pronunciation well, then that's when you'd want to use a more expensive teacher, somebody that's been doing it a bit longer, and from the area or the country that you prefer. So you might prefer an American teacher because you like that accent and because that's where you're planning on living. So then, likewise Australia or New Zealand or Canada or Great Britain, wherever you're planning on going, then probably a good idea to get a teacher from that area. But that costs a bit more money. So that's a teacher. And teachers can be, I know of a few terrible teachers, but teachers generally can be really positive, energetic, and they can give you a lot of good resources, some websites, some podcasts, and things like that can really help you build up a bank of resources to help you along your way. And then the last one, I guess, would be like a coach like myself. So it's more money and it's more intensive. But I suppose it's a bit like having driving lessons over 3 or 4 months compared to having, say, an intensive driving course in, say, 1 week. All right, learning a language and driving a car isn't exactly the same, but you get the metaphor. You understand what I'm trying to suggest there. So, but a coach isn't for everybody. Sometimes a coach is a little bit expensive. Sometimes a coach will demand too much of your time, too much of your energy. So it's what we would say horses for courses. It depends on what fits for you. But yeah, there's lots of different approaches out there. So, like we said in the beginning, how long does it take to learn a language? You can learn it in 3 to 6 months, or it can take you multiple years. It depends on your energy, your effort, your time, your money, and the way you want to, and the way you learn best, which only you and maybe your closest people know. All right, so yeah, if there's any other questions, just put them down below in the comments. Tell me yourself, how long have you been on your language journey? Has it been a long time? Are you finding it really easy? Is it similar to your language? Or is it very different? The opposite ends of the polar spectrum. Is it the opposite ends? Okay, thank you very much. That's it for today. And if you get a chance, hit that like and subscribe button. It helps me out. Thank you very much. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye for now.